Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Promoted Sandra. If this is the first time you are coming across this channel, thank you very much for stopping by. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you very much for coming back. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a corset A-shaped gown with a basque waist, okay? And this is also going to have a cape at the shoulder side, and it's also going to have a yoke at the top, okay? So I'm going to be showing you guys how to start and finish this dress. So if you really want to know how to make this beautiful gown, then do well to pay attention to details, okay? Here are the materials I'm going to be using to achieve this dress on the screen. So this is the fabric I'm going to be using. This is what I'm going to be using for the gown. This is half yard of black and fabric. You can make use of any type of fabric of your choice in as far as black. And this is the doll face I'm going to be using for the lining. This is called cloth stain. This cloth stain is what I'm going to be using for the upper part. This is just to make the cloth firmer and better. Then this is gum stay. I'm going to be making use of this gum stay on the lining, while I'm going to be using this cloth stain on the main fabric. Then this is a boba bias, so I'm going to be using this for the gown for the back side, okay, because this is not going to be having zip. So I'm going to be using this so you guys understand when I'm making it. You understand what I'm going to be doing with this boba bias. And this is the cups we are going to be using for the breast. So this is the bunny I'm going to be using for the dress, okay? This is the sewable bunny. So it's not compulsory you must make use of this type of bunny. You can decide to make use of the other one, okay, the other strong one. So this is the sewable one, so I prefer to make use of this sewable one. This is the skin net, which I'm going to be using for the upper part of the dress, which is the yoke, okay? This is the zip I'm going to be using for the skirt, because I said for the gown, the downside is going to have a short zip. So without further ado, let us dive into this video. If you've been watching my videos and you've not subscribed, please do well to subscribe to this channel. It's not going to take anything away from you. And if you end up enjoying the video, please do well to like and leave your comment at the comment section. It could just be a thank you comment, and if you have any question, feel free to ask me at the comment section. I will definitely respond to you guys. I've already gone ahead to draft out a basic bodice pattern before. I have the tutorial on my channel, okay? So I actually make use of this while I was doing the tutorial on how to draft your basic bodice pattern, both for the front and also for the back. I have the tutorial is going to be up there, so do well to watch the tutorial on how to draft this. This is the pattern for the front and this is the pattern for the back. So we are going to be starting with the front, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead to remove the back. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a new pattern paper to the side. This is the reason why I'm doing this is because we are going to be adding our sewing allowance. So while I was drafting this, if you watch the video, you're going to hear me say that I didn't add anything like sewing allowance or journey allowance, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and gum a new pattern paper to it, just for me to be able to add sewing allowance. Just please pay attention to what I'm about to do. This is my bust point, which is 10 inches. My under bust is 30 inches, so I did add under bust before. This is the only thing you're going to be adding for this tutorial. I'm just going to go ahead and add my under bust, which is 30 inches. Okay, this is my half length, 50 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and mark a straight line across this point that I just marked here. So I'm just going to go ahead and label in. This is my bust point, under bust, and waistline, okay? So what I'm going to be doing now is to go to my sewing machine. I'll first of all go to my sewing machine and hold this, okay, hold the dart. I'll fold it into, this is how it look like, right? I'll go ahead and fold it into two like this. I'll go ahead and sew it like this with 1/4 inch to this place. So I will just do it for the two before I'll go ahead and place it on my pattern paper. So this is it. I've gone ahead to sew it, okay? Gone ahead to sew it just like this. So before I place the cup, I will come to this bust point, then I will go up by 2 inch like this. This is going to be serving as my chest line. I'll go ahead and connect the points together like this. So once I was done, I will come to this center front. I will come in by 1/2 inch like this. I'll also come to the downside. I'll mark 1/2 inch. Or just connect it together and mark a straight line across. So from this point, I will come down by 1 inch, okay? You can decide to come down by 1.5 inch. You can decide to come down by 1/2 inch. This just depends on how much cleavage you are willing to expose. So if you want your cleavage to be really exposed, you can come down deep. but if you don't want it, you can just leave it like this. So once I was done coming down by 1 inch, I'll just go ahead and mark a line like this for me to know that, oh, that is the point. So once I was done with that, I'll go ahead and place my cup on it like this. Just make sure your cup is directly under this under bust line like this. So go ahead and hold it together like this, then you just mark it, okay, like this. You do the same thing for the other side. So this is what I have for this point. Okay, I will just mark a straight line like this, okay, because this is where it actually stopped. So what I'm going to be doing before I cut this art from this pattern paper, I'm going to go ahead and add my sewing allowance, which is the joining allowance. So I'll go up by 1/2 inch. I will just mark a point like this. Just watch out what I'm doing, okay? This part is very important. Just watch it out. I'll just go ahead and connect the points together like this. So this is what we are going to have. This is going to be our new line, okay? So this is the part we are going to be cutting out. So this part here is going to be the yoke. So what I'm going to be doing now is to place my cup on it like this, okay? Remember how we placed it before. From this point, I will just draw out the yoke, okay? So hope you guys saw what I did. This is how I normally cut out my own. Just go ahead and use your hand to blend it. I hope this is not confusing. Just use your hand to blend it. I take here. So this is going to be the front, which is going to be the yoke. So now I'm already done with this upper part. The next thing I'm going to be doing now is to come down to this down part and impute the basque waist, okay? I will mark 1/2 inch outward and 1/2 inch inward, which is the dart, okay? I'll connect this point from this point to this point to this point, okay? So this is the new lines which we are going to be make use of. So now that I was done with this, the next thing I'm going to be doing now is to add the allowance, okay? Now I will come to this under bust. I will measure what I have here. The dart that I took here is 0.7 inches. I'll go ahead and replace that 0.7 inches like this. Then I'll go ahead and add 1.5 inch sewing allowance like this, okay? So you can also decide to add 2 inches in case of viscosity. So let me just add 2 inches. I'll go ahead and add 2 inches. So I'll come to the waistline. I will measure what I have. The dart that I took here is 1 inch. I'll replace it like this. Then I will add 2 inches joining allowance. So I will come to this hip line. I will mark what I have here. I will replace the 1 inches like this. Then I will add 2 inches joining allowance. And I will come to my chest line. I will add 2 inches joining allowance as well like this. So I'll go ahead and connect all the points together like this. So the next thing I'm going to be doing now is to cut this out. Please pay attention and see how I'm going to be cutting this out. I'll just go ahead and remove this extra here. Once I was done cutting it, I'll go ahead and join it together like this, okay? I'll go ahead and use my seal tape to join it together. So once I was done, the next thing I'm going to be doing now is to come to this waistline. From this waistline, I'm going to be coming down by 4 inches. You can decide to come down by either 4 inches, 3 inches, or 5 inches. Please, it should not be longer than 5 inches, because if it's too long, you're going to have issues sewing it. So I'm just going to come down by 4 inches. So from this 4 inches, I'm going to be drawing a slant line from this point to meet up with the waistline over here. So I'm just going to go ahead and extend the waistline over here so that to be visible for us to see. I'm going to be connecting a slant line. You can decide to make it curving depending on the shape you want, but for me, I'm just going to go ahead and make it slant like this. This marker is so bad. Look how it stained my table. So bad. What kind of marker is this? So this is the yoke for the neck. As you can see, this is it, and this is the cup. For the back, we are not going to be adding basque waist. We are just going to make the back very straight like this. So I'm just going to be cutting out this extra from the waistline. So this is the only pieces we need for the back. So what I'm going to be doing now is to cut this out from the back as well. Okay, so before I cut this out, what I'm going to be doing now is to determine how I want the back to be. I'll go ahead and extend this chest line like this. So once I'm done extending it, I'll go ahead and determine the kind of back I want to have for this. You can go ahead to mark a V back or a curve back or a U back depending on you. So from this point, I'm just going to go ahead and give it the shape that I want. So I want it to be like curving or slant, I don't know. So I'm just going to make it like this. So this is going to be the yoke for the back. So what I'm going to be doing now is to cut it out. This is the dart that I added before. I'll go ahead and cut out the dart. Go ahead and cover it up like this. So guys, one thing you are going to notice is that we did not add joining allowance. So when I'm cutting it on my fabric, I'll go ahead and add the dart allowance, the sewing allowance on the made fabric. So for me, I would advise you when you are drafting your basic bodice pattern, just add your sewing allowance. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and gum it like this. Once I was done gumming it, I'll cut out the excess like this. So this is how the back is going to look like. Can you all see it? So this is how the back is going to look like. So right now I'm going to be cutting the downside, which is the skirt part of the gown. So I'm gonna have to fold my fabric into two like this. Okay, as you can see. So the length of this folding is 80 inches. From this point to this point is 80 inches. Then it's folded into two. Okay, this is the center front. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut out the front first before I go ahead and cut out the back. I'm going to go ahead and shift the fabric downward. What? I was actually using my ring light before. There's no light, so my battery is off. I hope you guys can still see it like this. So the full length of this gown is 60 minus 50 inches for the half length. I'll just go ahead and place my tip like this from the down, because I'm going to be needing these edges for the down. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and place my tip like this from the downside. This is 60 inches, so I'll go ahead and shift it up. So we get to the point of 50 inches. Okay, so after shifting it, this is where we have 50 inches. This is 50 inches. Okay, so I'm going to be adding 1.5 inch or 1 inch. You can decide to add 1 inch joining allowance or 1.5 inch joining allowance, but for me, I'm going to go ahead and add just 1 inch joining allowance. Okay, because the down we are not going to be folding it. Came up by 1 inch like this. What I have from here to here is 6 inches, so that whenever I want to cut this other side, I will just know how many inches I'm going to be marking. So since we have 6 inches here, I'll go ahead and mark 6 inches. I'll shift it back. So I'll go ahead and connect the points together. So once I was done with that, the next thing I'm going to be doing now is to take the hip measurement. So how I do normally take my hip measurement is from this point I will come down by 7 inches, and from this point I will come down by another 7 inches, which is going to make it 40 inches. So I'll be using this method for all my clients and it has been working. So I'll just measure 7 inches like this, then another 7 inches, which is going to make it 40 inches. So I'll go ahead and mark a straight line across. So right now we are going to come to this point. Okay, so before we do this, we are going to be taking our measurement from the shoulder to our knee line. Okay, this depends on where you want your fishtail or your A-line to start from. So I'm just going to go ahead and start from the upper knee. So from the shoulder to where the upper knee is going to be starting from is 37 inches. So before we mark that, we'll go ahead and minus our 15 inches, which is the half length. Then from there, I'll mark at 37 inches for the knee line, like this. Then I'll come to our waistline like this. I will input her waist measurement, which is 8 inches, like this. From this point to this point, I will divide what I have in between here into 2. I'll mark the midpoint. So what I have here is 7 inches. I'll mark 3.5 inches, which is going to be the midpoint. I'll draw a straight line across. Please take note of these lines, very, very important. I'll go ahead and label it hip line, like this. Her hip measurement is 42. 42 divided by 4 is going to give me 10.5 inches. I'll go ahead and mark 10.5 inches at the hip line. Okay, so her knee line measurement is 36 inches. 36 divided by 4 is going to give us 9. I'll go ahead and impute 9 inches like this. So once I was done, I'll go ahead and add the sewing allowance. I will add 1.5 inch. You can also decide to add 2 inches. That depends on you. That depends on what you want. So I'll just go ahead and add 1.5 inch. 1.5 inch like this. So I'll go ahead and connect all the points together. So once I was done, from this point, I will just draw a slant line down to the length line. So if you have enough fabric, you can go ahead and extend the downside. It depends on what you want, okay? So once I was done, I'll go ahead and make a curve line over here. This is not going to be sharpened because our body is not as sharp as this. So you're just going to go ahead and use your hand and draw, remove the sharp edge and make it curving like this. So once I was done, the next thing I'm going to be doing is to cut this out. So this is what we are going to have at the end of the day. So with this, I'm going to be cutting out the back. Just pay attention to the back details. So this is the front side. I'm just going to go ahead and lay it on it like this, okay? Please pay attention to what I'm about to do. So this is going to be the center back, which is going to be the zipper allowance for the back, okay? This side is going to be the back for the zipper allowance. So we are not going to be cutting the back straight. So the back is going to have like a fishtail, right? So what we are going to be doing is this. You kindly shift your fabric back a little like this. So pay attention to this edge over here. You will shift your fabric, this one, to the end of your fabric over here. So if your fabric is much, you can go ahead and just shift it. All you just need to do is shift it, okay, like this. So as you can see, you're going to notice that this one is at the edge of the back over here like this, okay? So once you are done doing that, then what I'm going to be doing now is to come up like this. I'm just going to go ahead and mark the zipper allowance, okay, which is going to be 1.5 inch. I'll go ahead and mark 1.5 inch over here like this. Please pay attention to what I'm doing. 1.5 inch. I'll come to this line over here, which is the knee line. I'll mark 1.5 inch. I'll go ahead and connect the points together. So I'll go ahead and extend this length, the line over here. So from that line, what I'm going to be doing, this is how the fishtail is going to come up. I'll go ahead and draw a slant line like this to meet up with this point over here. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut it out. So once I was done cutting it, I'll go ahead and cut the lining. So the lining for this gown is going to be a very short lining, okay? So it's not going to be a long lining, it's just a short lining. So I'll go ahead and fold my lining right now and cut it out. This is doll face, which I'm going to be using. So I'll go ahead and fold the doll face into 2. So I'll go ahead and place the fabric on it like this. You can determine how long you want your lining to be. So for me, the lining is going to stop at this point, which is close to where the A shape started from. Okay, this point. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut it out like this. So I'll go ahead and use this to cut out the front. So you can just go ahead and cut out the front. So guys, I'm done cutting it. What I'm going to be doing now is to take it to my sewing machine and start sewing the process. So I'm going to continue the sewing process on my next video. Please do well to subscribe, turn on post notification if you want to see more videos like this on my channel. So watch out for part 2 of this. Stay safe, stay tuned, stay blessed. Goodbye. See you on my next video.